Hey everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, Vincent LaRussa and I will discuss the Kiss 2020 Goodbye live stream. We just finished watching it less than an hour ago, and we wanted to give our initial feedback and thoughts on this incredible live performance. We hope all the Kiss fans around the world enjoyed it, and I hope every one of you guys have a great and wonderful new year. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. Now, let's jump in and get started on our conversation and our feedback on the Kiss 2020 Goodbye live stream. Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. I have with me again my buddy of 45 years, Mr. Vincent LaRussa. How you doing today, buddy?
Not bad, not bad.
Excellent. So we actually both just wrapped up watching the Kiss live stream, Kiss 2020 Goodbye. I know, I think both of us were a little bit like back and forth. Do we get it? Do we not get it? It's going to be the same set list, yada, yada, yada. But let's just jump in. What did you think of it overall?
Well, I really can't say anything. Right now I'm reviewing the evidence, and then I'll get back to you.
That, I was watching it with Courtney, for anybody who doesn't know, that's my daughter. And we both scratched our head like that. That was bizarre. That whole thing was just bizarre.
And then I love Paul. Like, okay, get off the stage. We're going to rock and roll night now.
Exactly.
Get off. Like Eric sings like this with the stick right in. That was like that poor guy's moment in time that he was going to be on the stage, And I kept on waiting for something to be like really good. He's like, and we are not going to tell you. We are reviewing the evidence. Like, why go through all that if they don't break those records?
I know. It was a bizarre ending to what I thought was a really good performance and a good live stream. But, Kiss is notorious. I saw Kiss in New Year's 1996 into 97, and they missed the New Year's countdown for that. And my friends and I always make fun of the fact that they missed that countdown. And they pretty much almost missed it here as well. I'm going to assume they made those last 5-6 seconds. But like you said, it was like, okay, Guinness guy, shut up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, rock and roll tonight. It's just like, they did not need to do that. I agree. I'm so glad you started with that. That's hilarious.
Oh,
man.
Yeah. And you got to give credit to that printing press that printed up that document. Like, how would they have a guy with a photocopy machine get that document and do it official? Is it official? Yeah, hit. All right, hurry up, laminate it.
That's great. That's absolutely great. But yeah, we'll be interested to see what comes of those other ones that they have to look into to see.
I don't know if I could be able to sleep tonight, knowing if they met those requirements.
That's right. So, all right. Well, putting the Guinness Book thing to the side, which is a hilarious way to start this conversation, right? What did you think of? I'll say this even before we get into it. More than that, the part that bothered me was that they missed the first 20, 30 seconds of Detroit Rock City. The whole intro, them coming down. Like, I'm watching it. I loved that whole hour beforehand and the whole thing of showing how they set up the stage and all of that.
Yeah.
I kind of wish there was a little bit more Tommy Thayer in there. I don't even think he said a word in the entire hour. But it was a cool thing kind of seeing some of that background that they did. But then all of a sudden it cuts right over to the concert and they're literally starting the first verse of Detroit Rock City pretty much. And I'm like, what the hell, man? How do you blow that? So
yeah. I thought I had missed something too. I think I actually had it because I had gotten a phone call. I had it muted, and then I looked up and I saw them. I was like, what the? And I unmuted it and started scrambling, get all my stuff, in order. And I was like, oh man. And I'm looking at the time, and it was like 4. I think it was 4 minutes to or whatever.
Right.
One. So I was like, wow, they actually started earlier, but maybe. I don't know what the time zone difference is. Maybe who the heck knows? They wanted to make
in
maybe
Dubai. You think it's 4 minutes earlier than anywhere else?
I'm just saying.
Is that what you think?
Maybe with building in in case there's a mistake, maybe they have something on a delay. I don't know. So they built 4 minutes in. I don't know.
Well, look, I'll say I'm happy they started 4 minutes early.
Yeah.
Because and you texted me while it was happening, which I thought was great. I said I have to see if you're texting me. To me, a highlight was the fact they finally, on the end of the road, added in a song that to me should be there every night. No questions asked. It shouldn't be, this is an extra song, we didn't rehearse it. It should be there every freaking night. And obviously that was Strutter. And I think they were able to do that because they started 4 minutes early. So I'll take the missing the first 30 seconds of Detroit Rock City to get that added little bonus treat there in the encore.
So, yeah, I think that was definitely, they probably, they said, oh, we didn't rehearse it. I mean, that's a song, they probably always have in their back pocket.
Right.
When we saw them on the cruise, they did it, so it wasn't like, oh, it's been, 100,000 years since they did it. So, but yeah, it was cool. It was definitely, that's one of my all-time favorite Kiss tunes, top five, easily right off the top of my brain, So yeah, no, that was cool. That was definitely cool, and I knew it was going to be Strutter. Yeah. I was ready to like to say Strutter to you, but of course I gave you, keep your toe, calm.
Keep my toe in my shoe or something like that.
I knew like you're like, I just know the way you're operating, like you're marinating. These are like, the moments that we all Kiss fans live for, but especially you, knowing you through all the years,
Right. And I turned to my daughter and I said, all right, they're going to do Strutter. It was exactly what I thought also, because like you said, it's a song you figure they always have in their back pocket. And when he said this is the first album, once he said first album, I was like, all right, if this becomes Love Theme from Kiss, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
Although I guess that would have kind of been cool to see.
That would have been pretty cool.
Something totally unexpected. But So what other notes did you take during the show?
A couple of little things here and there. These are some of these things are very minor. I wish they would have pulled out a little bit more on Gene's fire shot. It was very close in, because, to see that extension of like, maybe they just wanted to make it more dramatic by seeing it close up. But I felt like it didn't capture the entire, projectile of the flame.
But let me pause you there for a moment then. What did you think, though, of the overall production and the camera angles and all of that? What did you think of it?
Oh, yeah, no, that was all excellent. I thought it was really cool. I like that there was especially that one end shot where it was like in between whatever that.
Like it almost looks like a spade. I don't know. It looks like a car.
Yeah, right. And I don't know if they pulled out or they pulled in, but it was kind of cool that, a lot of cool perspective. That was cool about watching it. You and I both seen this tour several times, you more so than I did, but I think I saw it at least 4 times or 5 maybe. I don't even remember at this point. So we kind of know how the show was going to run. And it was pretty much to the T from what we saw except for Strutter and a couple other little things that I made some mention of. But I thought the camera angles, there were a couple times when they would go to a couple camera, one particular far away camera where it looked kind of scrambled. It was always like for whatever reason, it wasn't something with my wife. I wasn't on Wi-Fi. I was actually on direct Ethernet connection. It must have been their feed. It was like pixelated. It was always that one camera. But overall, you do the dress rehearsal. They have to, they do all the testing. The fireworks at the end, I never saw so much fireworks in at the end. Anything. Right. I was like, if you told me, if I would have put on the TV and said there was a war in whatever and this was explode, I would have been like, holy shit, what the hell's going on?
Right, absolutely. Yep.
But the fireworks, the lighting, and again, I was fortunate. I had it blasting through my stereo system,
nice.
So I was able to appreciate like that. And the sound was excellent. A couple little times here and there, like there was one vocal, I forgot where it was. I think it might have been when, I almost said Peter, when Eric was going to start singing Beth, like it was very kind of low, and then all of a sudden they brought it up. It's almost like I was like, "Ooh, I got to bring that fader."
Right.
First thing like Beth, and then there's a couple little moments like that. But for the most part, that's so minor. This is not complaining. Nothing like that.
Look, this is what I was going to say. You're dissecting a frame here, a 3-second spot here, in a 2-hour and 15-minute performance, plus an extra hour of the pre-show thing. So those are the biggest things to me. And what the hell do I know about pulling off something like this? But all those different camera angles on a live performance. And I knew a few people who were there, and one of them was live on Facebook at one time. So I put on their live feed, which is of course a few seconds delay there. But I wanted to see just, is Kiss actually broadcasting this on like a 2-minute delay or something like that? And there was like a 5-second difference between the person who was on Facebook broadcasting live and the stream that was coming through the TV. So, of course, there's always going to be a slight delay just because technology, that's the way it is. But my point being is that they did not put this like on a 1 or 2 or 3-minute delay so that they could kind of hit a stop button or whatever if they need to. They really were broadcasting as live could be with something like this. And I say kudos to them because I don't even know those people who are making those decisions. Are they Kiss fans? Do they know that Gene Simmons is spitting fire, doing the fire? And should we go to a wide angle? Like, I wonder how much those guys even know who's singing what songs. I'm sure they got cheat notes there, but I wonder that sometimes.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Think of the band, first of all.
Right.
Think of the way Gene and Paul are. Think about Doc McGee. You know what I mean? I got to figure they planned all this stuff out because, to have these little minor things, there would have been major things if it wasn't planned out.
Point.
You know what I mean? All this stuff was. It's orchestrated as as a production, as a play, or something you would go to see if you're going to see a Broadway production. It's all the same thing, whether it's the lighting, whether it's the music, whether it's the fireworks, all this stuff has to be, done to a T. And one of the things that we do come to know, and like a lot of bands do, in order to keep their tempos intact and to make sure things all time out, they're going to start with some sort of, Eric's got his in his in-ears. Some sort of count off where the band could all hear when to start.
Yep.
It's very hard when you're on such a big scale to get can you see? You don't see, Paul looking back at Eric for going 1, 2, what I mean? This is all fed to them to help them get along.
Absolutely.
And especially on a show that's outside. And that was kind of weird because how you doing, people? And there were some people there, but I'm sure Paul was like, okay, this is not what I'm used to. But what I kind of enjoyed was it was every so often in between you always hear Gene like,
oh yeah, that was the highlights.
You always had or you hear a little chattering in the background, which normally we wouldn't hear. But to hear Gene
we were cracking up the whole time. But after every song, you hear him, oh yeah. In fact, Courtney said to me, she goes, "I want to start my new year with Gene just saying, oh yeah." I said, "I can arrange that. I can arrange that." But no, I thought that was great hearing him do. And I said to Courtney, I said, he probably does that every concert. It's just that with the crowd all around, you don't hear it. So the audio feed I thought was phenomenal. I know you said the one part, which I'll be honest, I didn't even pick that up. Probably when I watch it back, I'll notice it. But I thought the sound quality was phenomenal on this. Really, really incredible. And even the production. I'll say this: we nitpick a couple of camera angles, and I agree with you on that. I would give it a solid 9.8 out of 10. I thought the production was incredible. I was worried. I think it's the 2004 video, the Rock the Nation video, where they change camera angles every 2 seconds. And it gives me a headache to watch that. And I was nervous it was going to be like that. And it wasn't. I thought this was so well done, like the different camera angles and the way they cut out. At least for my eyes, I thought it was excellent.
Yeah. No, I totally agree on that. I mean, if this was something that I had put in my Blu-ray player or whatever, I would have said, "Oh yeah, this looks like this is something that they, worked several times. They rehearsed it, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
maybe it was from two or three different Vegas shows when they did the whole Vegas thing, and put all. Yeah, it totally felt like that.
Yeah.
There was a couple of moments that I kind of am thinking about when we were at the concert together, and like how you would get. I think it is in. Is it in War Machine where Eric would do something with his stick? What's the song that?
Yeah, War Machine. He kind of lets go to stick momentarily, and then he catches it.
And I was hoping they would show a little bit more of that. I knew he was doing it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, where's the Eric thing? And I'm thinking of you. And so I made note of that.
Well, let me pause you there for a moment. I wonder when they put out the DVD.
Yeah.
You're right. If they will re-edit it a little bit to maybe show something like that, maybe give a wide angle on. All right. Again, this was all live, and somebody's making a split. And they showed on the pre-show how there was the video room, the audio room, and somebody's making split-second decisions. On the DVD, the Blu-ray, I wonder if there'll be slightly different edits. I have to think there will be.
I will guarantee that, not even knowing and not working for Kiss, because they're going to have all.
Well, you obviously work for Rocksteady.
I do. I know I seem a little young, but to have worked there in the 70s. But anyways, I got to figure however many cameras. Did you know how many cameras did they say? You probably don't.
They were saying 50, so I'm assuming.
All right, so 50. So if they're bringing into whatever audio on video, whether it's Final Cut or something, they're going to have those 50 streams, and they're going to be able to select and redo or whatever. If there was a bad feed that happened to show at that time, they'll just take that out and swap something.
Yeah.
Or swap something in and out. So that they'll definitely be able to do that. A couple other things just to mention. I don't know if he did this when we would see him, but when he did the drum solo, I think, and he put his hand on his chin and looked over at the camera, that was classic. Is that something that I don't remember him him doing that.
I remember him always like pointing into the camera and looking at it. I don't remember him ever just like sitting there like, all right, yeah, hey.
Yeah, that was classic.
He probably has. I just didn't remember it. But I know exactly that was classic. Even Courtney said to me, does he always do that? I was like, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I don't think so. For her to say it and for you, like, you forget it. You're a lunatic when it comes to these things.
Right.
A couple other things. Can I keep rolling here?
Of course. Keep on rolling.
So a couple other things I took notice of. At 100,000 years, I believe that's when Gene had brought out his Gibson, like a Firebird style or Thunderbird style bass, which he hasn't played at all. And again, it's a great thing for marketing and selling another product, because I saw that was going to be made available for purchase. And it also was interesting that Tommy Lee had like a new Flying V that was a Gibson Flying V that
who was that? Remember. Tommy who?
I said Tommy Lee, right?
Yeah. So the funny part when you're saying Tommy Lee is that the Gene bass reminds me of a Nicky Six bass.
Maybe that's what it was. I was handling, you know why? Because in my Motley Crue tribute band, my bass player has a Firebird bass. So you know what? Thank you for giving me an excuse for making a faux pas there.
It's what I'm here to do for you, buddy.
At least I got the first name right. Tommy Thayer.
Tommy Thayer.
That's why when I first said it, you're looking at me, I'm like, did he? I don't remember him playing that guitar, that particular Flying V. I could be wrong on that.
He has. That one he has played? You were wrong.
Okay. Yeah, with the whole mirror thing on there?
Yeah. I've seen him play that before. He didn't start the tour using that, I don't think, during Cold Gin and the guitar solo, but somewhere a few months in, I'm 100% positive he started using that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Paul Stanley's guitar was like a Les Paul body, but with an Ibanez headstock. Yep. That was new.
That's new.
Right. All right. So okay.
That one's new.
So that I thought was interesting. Again, this is a minor thing. I just wish, this is that one part where he does that Ace Frehley. I think you have commented on. I just wish he didn't do that. It just I don't have a problem with them having the makeup on and and that, but I just I just don't feel it's necessary. I don't think people are clamoring to hear that. When he does, Love Gun solo and he pretty much does it note for note, I don't have a problem with that. Yep. When he that, but that part I just heard, you know what I mean? I was just like,
It's the 20 seconds of every Kiss concert that I cringe and I say, this is not necessary. Other than that, I'm with you. I don't care about the makeup, the costumes, the solos, and the rest of the songs. Just that 20-second time, I'm always like, that's not necessary. Just an opinion. Right. Just an opinion.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I also thought it was interesting, no blood.
So so why do you think that was? So I speculated that that's because somebody has to make that for him, and he just didn't want somebody touching that, or Dubai, because I don't know if you noticed they changed some of the lyrics also to a couple of the songs. Right?
I was getting to that. Yes.
Yep. Especially in God of Thunder, right?
Yeah, I have to figure it has something to do with being sensitive to something being in that country. I don't know. God of Thunder. I was born with a fever, I think he said.
Yeah, I was born with. I turned to Courtney. I was like, "Oh, he was born with a fever. That's good."
That's a horrible way to come to this planet.
And then the end of the chorus is "Rob you of your sacred core." I was like, and he did it multiple times.
Right. I wrote code or core. I guess it's core, right?
I wrote core. That's what it sounded like to me. Right?
Core sounds. Yeah, I wrote core and I put code. I wasn't sure.
Right.
But yeah, so he was originally burning up with fever.
Now he's born with a fever.
This poor guy can't get rid of his freaking fever.
That's right.
You know what he's gonna have soon, right?
What's that?
He's gonna have a fever. And you know what this fever is gonna be for?
Where are you going with this?
Come on, you got to know this one. More cowbell. Don't you remember the whole skit? I got a fever.
No, I have no freaking clue what you're talking about.
Wait a second.
I thought you were gonna say he's going. He has a fever and he's gonna be on fire. But
well, you don't know the Saturday Night Live skit with "I got a fever for more cowbell."
No, I don't.
People who are watching this now, put in the comments.
Mike's a jerk.
That the rock and roll experience, everything, every kind of experience you could have. He has no idea what I'm talking about.
Wow.
It's the most classic, most legendary, Saturday Night Live. You'll have to watch it afterwards.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
I will openly admit I was never a huge Saturday Night Live fan. Even to this day, Jody watches it.
Cowbell.
Some of my other friends watch it. Look, I love Cowbell. I just never saw the scene. Crucify me.
Boo.
Boo. The crowd boos.
All right, let's move on. And the other thing was, I always wondered about, and maybe you know more than me, about if Eric's really playing piano on Beth.
I can tell you this. I know somebody who watched his hands where he's playing on the piano, and they tell me he's playing all the right notes. Now, is the piano really playing to, in part, what's a track? I mean, there's a track there also.
Of course, yeah,
you hear drums and so cymbals. So, but if he's not playing, he's certainly playing the right notes on the piano.
So I'm going to clue you in on something that I noticed.
What's that?
Okay, and people could correct me if I'm wrong.
What's that?
What's interesting is when he comes out and he does Beth, he's got the boots, and hence like after Beth, he had to take his boots off.
Yeah, he said, "I'm taking off my shoes."
Taking off his shoes. When you play piano, there's something called a sustain pedal that's underneath, and in order to get certain notes to ring out, I watched his feet the whole time, and they didn't move.
Right.
So if he's really playing that, and he's playing without the sustain pedal, I don't think it would sound like that. He could be playing it with his hands, and I'm not saying that he can't play. That's not what I'm trying to say, but. That was always something when we went to the contest. Is he really playing that? And I was always at an angle where I couldn't see his feet. Now I was able to, the first thing I'm doing is staring at his feet. But
was your face up against the screen, like?
No, well, but I think. Oh, and then the other thing I found that was interesting at the end, when they were showing the credits, they actually had TIS, but with the regular S's, and then afterwards it had with the the usual style lightning bolt. I was like. Like how in when something's not authorized, they like a biography, thing of that nature. I just thought that was like, again, this is a little thing that I just noticed, but just watching every little thing.
Yeah,
from
you were
us
like
to comment
you were
about.
Hawkeye on this. Wow.
So I think, and the other note I made was, I noticed that the streams was about. It said 11.2K, which is about 11,200.
Okay.
And if you times that by 40, that's about $448,000. So that's if everybody paid $40.
Okay.
That's how much money they would have paid.
Right.
I mean, would have made from just, the ticket sales.
Right.
Now, of course, the people had different experiences, but let's say the majority of people just paid the $40, right?
Right.
I got to figure, even if it's $500,000, that production cost Kiss way more than $500,000. You know what I mean? To do that whole thing. So I'm not sure if they really made money on this thing, but
what's interesting?
I just found that interesting.
Yeah. Well, this was the live broadcast that you and I watched. Obviously, people have the opportunity to watch it on a playback, and some places overseas, this was middle of the night. Other places like, let's say California, it started at 9:00 in the morning, right? So you might have a lot of people potentially even not watching it during the live stream and saying, "Hey, I'll pick it up at my local time, whatever time I want." So I wonder what that split is. I really don't know.
Yeah. Just purely looking at a number, I'm like, 11,000. Okay.
Right.
That's about If people were paid the $40 right now that I'm seeing on that screen, this is how much money they just made. And not that I'm making a deal at all about how much money they made.
But last episode you and I did, we established that that's actually like a hose plus tax.
$448,000?
No, $40. Good response.
Oh,
Good response.
That's right. Hose plus tax. People don't know and didn't see the last episode. They're going to have no idea what you're talking about.
Now they have to go back and watch it. So
yes, it's very interesting.
Yeah,
so you will not be wasting time on that. Yeah.
We were talking about the lyrics that the band changed. We did not, or I don't think you mentioned at all. It sounded like Stanley changed the lyrics of 100,000 Years also, where he says, "Must have been a bitch while I was gone." I noticed the first couple of times you skipped over that in your notes.
Well, the first note says trip 100,000. I'm like, did somebody trip on 100,000? But that's what it was.
Right. It was right.
It must have been a trip. That's why, because that was the last one. Yes.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting. I'm like, all right, I'm not sure. Like, bitch. I guess again they were trying to be sensitive.
Yeah.
I don't know, in today's world, who the heck knows? Who knows? But yes, I did notice that.
Look, Dubai's it's in a different country than we're in, right?
Yeah.
It's in Emirates, something like that. And
yeah.
I don't know what their laws and regulations are, so to me, one of the things, and I've traveled to different places around the world, you always have to be respectful to the different cultures and the different things. I remember when I was in Singapore, if you were chewing gum in public, $1,000 fine, chewing gum in public. Right? Think about that. That's crazy, right? When I was in Spain, dinner was 10, 11 o'clock at night, right? It was just their cultures, different, things that we are not used to. I remember I went out to dinner in Spain at 7:30 and every restaurant was closed. I'm like, what the hell? This is dinner time. So, maybe in their country, some of these terminologies are just frowned upon. But I have to think, although I think the last time Stanley did sing must have been a bitch while you were gone. So I wonder if he either just forgot or who knows what it is. Yeah, that's, I didn't pick it up. A Courtney said to me, she goes, he sang it the right way that time. I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah. Interesting. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, and that goes again to what I was commenting on earlier, that they had to plan this whole thing out, really think out like every lyric and every song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if the local government literally went through the lyrics and said, all right, you can't say that. You can't.
Possible.
That's what I'm guessing.
Very possible,
Yep.
But, my overall, I feel like I got my money's worth. I enjoyed the 2+ hours. I didn't feel like in any way, shape, or form, oh, that was a ripoff, especially in today's times where we haven't been able to go to concerts and we haven't been able to see them again because of the pandemic and whatnot. As Kiss always says, I felt like it was a souvenir, because again, I'm watching it through a very different lens now. I'm watching it thinking like 5 years from now, this is not going to happen.
Right.
Most likely. To change their mind, which I don't think,
Well, what's interesting
it was interesting.
Go ahead. Go, you first.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Doc said during the pre-thing, I don't know if you picked this up, this is the first one of these we're doing. We'll probably do more of these. And I was like, ooh, that's an interesting comment that he made there that, so I wonder if the pandemic extends through most of 2022, 2021, if we will see a few more live streams from Kiss. And maybe even, maybe other bands will see this now and say, hey, we could do things like this also.
Yeah. That being said, if they were to do the same thing again with the same show, I don't know if I would do it again.
Agreed.
And maybe if it was like the last show ever and we weren't able to attend, obviously, you're going to do that. You know what I mean?
Different story.
But being that it's New Year's Eve, we're trying to look at something positive to celebrate, and again, I just have all these flashbacks. I have a flashback of like PS 163, lunchroom, you standing in front of me doing Tomorrow and Tonight, which has one of the first earliest memories I have of you as a Kiss fan and me as a Kiss fan is you singing that song in the lunchroom in 1978. So it all just kind of, you go back for all the discussions and everything we've done in regards to this band and all the albums and the merchandise and yada, yada, yada. It's, you just take it all in. You really appreciate and love that. We're very fortunate that we've had something very positive in our lives to attach ourselves to. Kiss is like one of those one-of-a-kind bands that you're never going to see anything like this ever again. And not growing up at a time with iPods, iPads, cell phones. We had our front stoop. We had hide and go seek. We had whatever. This is what we grew up with. Wiffle ball bats on your corner, and we're gonna put on a show. You couldn't play a damn. We thought we were gonna sell tickets. I mean, these were the dreams we had as 8-year-old kids because of this band. That touched us at such a young and impressionable age, and I mean, it's a quote Paul Stanley. We've been given a gift. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to go back to what you said before. If they did more of these, right? When I heard Doc say that, I instantly thought, we know Tommy and Eric pretty much can play any song in the catalog, right? I was like, if they did an unmasked show, I don't mean no makeup, I mean the album Unmasked, front to back, $500, I'm in. Take my money. If anybody from Kiss is watching, that's the ticket right there, right? Because we've seen them do most of the songs on the first album, Hotter Than Hell, Dress to Kill, Destroyer. You want to do Unmasked front to back. You want to do The Elder front to back. You want to do Creatures of the Night front to back. You want to do Dynasty front to back, songs that we've never heard. Easily, I'll pay a premium. I'm saying $500 is a starting price Okay,
Right.
easily sign me up. I will. And this band can do that. And during the pandemic, every month, I wish they would do that, right, until the pandemic was over. It doesn't have to be in
Yeah.
Dubai, huge stage and all of that. It could be a smaller scale. I would like that sign up.
Yeah. Yeah. You and many other Kiss fans would do that. Again, we got to be hopeful that, Paul's the most volatile with this whole thing because he's got to sing these songs. And what I did notice, and one of the fun things I did when the show first started, I plugged in my bass and I was playing along to the TV, because I just kind of wanted to have that. I mean, I can't do that in concert. Hold on,
Right.
bring my amp in. I know it's not supposed to be. Just bring it in, So I was playing, and also to see where they were. I mean, they would tune down a half step from the record, which some bands, again, to their credit, go a step and a half.
Right.
I mean, I've seen where U2, where they're a step and a half, not just a half step down.
Right. Wow.
And so, again, you could criticize Kiss and Paul, and obviously he's not going to be the Paul Stanley of 75 or 78 or late or even 95. You know what I mean? Or even
Absolutely.
2000.
Agreed.
But to still try to maintain as close to the original pitch of those records, it's really hard to do.
Yep.
And we know that Paul's always like bike riding or doing something to keep himself fit and walk around. And just, again, you're just watching and seeing them with these damn boots. I mean, these guys are 70 or 69 or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's not you and me. We're not going to be able to do that. You know what I mean?
No,
So,
I'm tired just after this
God bless you for
conversation.
that. Yeah.
I
can wear you out.
That's true. I'm glad though you mentioned that you were playing the bass, because one of the things I said to my daughter as we were watching is that I've always loved Gene's bass sound, and he doesn't get enough credit to me as a bass player. And I love the sound on this of his bass, and I love even the little bass riffs, the bass runs he does during I Love It Loud.
Oh yeah.
And literally they're doing that, and
those.
and I'm singing along, and Courtney's just laughing at me. He's like, "Will you stop?" Stop.
Which is not actually the actual notes. That sounds
No,
more like
not.
A trumpet solo. But anyway,
it does, but you get the point.
Yeah, we always commented on that, right between the eyes, and he puts the lick in, and I was like, all right, what is he playing? And I was watching his hands, and so it was cool, to just actually now hear it and then play it along with them. It was fun. Yeah, I actually enjoyed that part of the broadcast.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Look, I'll end this where I started. To me, and you notice I was on the fence back and forth for the last month about this, simply because I felt like I've seen this tour 12 times, 13 times maybe. What was I going to see on New Year's Eve on my couch that I haven't seen already over a dozen times? I'll say this: I was happy that they did use the set list that we saw back in February and March, which included Tears Are Falling and Parasite. We were lucky; we got to see shows where they did that in person. But many people around the world did not get to see them on the End of the Road tour doing Tears Are Falling or doing Parasite. Yeah. So for them, those are newer additions, if you will. Add in Strutter. And those are three songs that probably a lot of people around the world had not seen them do. And, I sat there, I was, humming along, singing along, humming some of the bass lines and all. And I ended up having a great time for 3+ hours. It cost me, a little more than a hose to get this. And I was happy. I was very, very happy. Yeah. And said, that was worth my money. I'm glad I didn't take that cynical approach and say, it's going to be nothing different. It's not worth my money. It's going to be sitting on a couch. If they were here on Long Island, I would have gone in a heartbeat, right? No pandemic, of course. No pandemic. But I just was nervous about sitting on the couch that it would feel kind of boring in a way. But it wasn't. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, at the very least, you and I talked, maybe it was yesterday, the day before. We knew at the very least we had the responsibility to report to the people how we felt about, so we had to just pay for it and watch it just for this alone. And that's my whole thing. Because I was kind of like you, and I'm then I was thinking, what the hell else am I going to do for these 2-3 hours, on a year that's been a roast, you know what I mean? It's like,
absolutely.
You know what, this will be a good thing, and we could have a good conversation about it. So yeah, it was definitely worth it.
And I'm hoping when they put out the Blu-ray that they do include that first hour piece that was, a little bit. I hope they even have some more footage. I'm assuming they do of them, arriving in Dubai and some interview stuff that they did there. I'm hoping that's in the Blu-ray, maybe in an extended version.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of this because I saw people on Facebook, and I actually had a friend call me during the broadcast that people were having trouble with the streaming or whatever. Listen,
I'm sure you'll hear that.
technology, if you don't have good Wi-Fi at home and you're trying to stream a 1080p or 4K video, you can't necessarily. I mean, I had no problem. I was wired in. There was no issue. So what that tells me is that it all comes down to your network. They were feeding my router, which I have. I'm fortunate. I have FiOS. At a certain speed. Now, if your Wi-Fi, for whatever reason, you don't have the technology, and I don't want to go too technical, is being dumbed down to, the bare minimum, you can't blame KISS for that. That's your infrastructure, your house. So for those who are going to be critical, oh, the streaming was terrible. Listen, I don't think I had maybe one bare, small glitch, and that was it. It was smooth the entire time. I had it in full screen on a 1080 screen, and I had no issues. That's no issues.
At first I had it on my phone, and I was mirroring my phone to my TV, which is the way I usually watch streams. And the sound kept cutting out. Like every 10 seconds, the sound would drop out for a few seconds and come back. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And I said exactly what you said. This must be a me thing. There's no way that this is happening. Right. And so I said, all right, let me go get my laptop. Let me see if I could get a better connection here. And then once I used a different gadget and all of that, I was at like 99%. Yeah. No, every once in a while there'd be a little flicker, but whatever.
It's coming to your phone. You're getting now you're transmitting it out through for the Apple terms, through AirPlay too. So you got two network things. I mean, and again, depending on your infrastructure, and I know you have several people in your house. You have your son who's got 7 zillion devices. You know what I mean? So everybody's eating up at that bandwidth. So you can't blame KISS for that. Right. I mean, the fact that they started and Detroit Rock City was there's something obviously happened there. Right. Yep. And I gotta think they didn't start the show like that. So on the replay, we'll probably see the full intro, which is nice that we will be able to get another and that's the other thing we should mention. Listen, we will get another replay at the $40 price point. You get another replay, and you can watch it again. Even if you had something in your house where you thought, you know what, I got everything set up, and you say, you know what, I should have maybe done a wire to my computer, would have been more. Now you have the opportunity to do that. It's not like you said, sorry, you lose.
And if you got the $50 one, you can watch it, I think, endlessly over like a 72-hour period or something like that. So there's certainly other opportunities to watch this, and I'm sure KISS fans will as well. But no, I had no complaints at all about the feed. I knew any minor glitches that were happening was my side, because I actually used my Wi-Fi. I didn't even do an HDMI cable, and I still was at like 99%. So I was like, all right, I was just lazy. I didn't connect the HDMI cable. If I would have, I probably would have been at 100%.
Ethernet cable, you mean?
Ethernet cable. Sorry, Ethernet cable. You're right. Yeah, Ethernet. Not
Tommy Lee, Ethernet cable.
Oh, look, you don't rely on me for any kind of technology conversations.
Fair point. Although you've gotten pretty damn good at it.
I've gotten better, but look, I called you yesterday. I'm trying to do an external hard drive. What do I do, right? So people don't listen to me when I talk about technology.
Fair point.
So anything else we're missing on this?
Just let me look through all my notes. I think I got everything in there. I covered everything I wanted to talk about as far as my notes. I'm just looking at the review and the evidence again.
Review I wonder when they release the Blu-ray if they'll just edit that out.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
especially
it felt
whatever
clumsy.
the results are.
Right, true.
Yeah.
It felt clumsy, and I thought they'd handled that whole encore situation so perfectly, because it was obvious they were going to have a lot of extra time. So when Paul came out like, oh, we're going to do an extra song, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Now they'll set themselves up with 2 minutes, 3 minutes to go. Paul will talk a little bit. Rough year. Thank everybody for supporting us. Blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden they bring this guy out, and I'm like, no. And instantly, the second he came out on stage, my daughter and I looked at each other and said, they're going to miss the countdown. This guy's going to just talk because, like you said, it's his 30 seconds of fame. And he's like, but hey, whatever. I still enjoyed it. It that part to the side, I still enjoed the whole thing.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed that part.
For different reasons.
You and the evidence. That's like the punchline of the year, to end the year.
That is true. That is very true. Very true. All right, buddy. I know it is New Year's Eve, and I think you're going to see your family, and I wish you a happy New Year. I'm going to go say hello to my wife and kids and enjoy the peaceful, quiet day here. And everybody who's watched the show all year long, I want to thank you guys. Lots of comments. I've even seen comments this week about, people really enjoying, what we do here. So thank you everybody who does that. I see more people commenting and enjoying you than me. So perhaps next year will be the rock and roll experience with Vincent LaRussa.
Well, to be fair, let me just say you've done a tremendous job with this. I mean, again, let me just say, taking about 30 seconds of time. Growing up, again, 45 years of friendship, all the conversations we had as kids, all the dreams we had about music and all that stuff, to finally see you have, something, a vehicle where you get to talk to the Dee Snyders and the Rudy Sarzos and the Billy Sheehan's and, whoever, I mean, this is just an incredible achievement. And I'm so proud of you and the work that you've done. And keep up the good work, and I just hope you keep me a part of this. And,
I think we did an episode last week or over the weekend, and we said that was going to be the last one of 2020, and now we're already doing another one this year. So I can guarantee you that you'll be a part of other shows as we move into the new year. If there's one thing I can guarantee, it is that we'll do more of these.
So you don't have to review the evidence.
I do not need to review the evidence. No more show.
Clap a bit.
Oh, man. So, all right, buddy. Enjoy your new year, and I look forward to doing more of these in 2021.
All right, same here.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a happy new year. Talk to you guys soon.
Take care, everyone.
All right, bye. All righty. There you have it. Our thoughts and our comments on the KISS 2020 Goodbye live stream from Dubai. We hope you guys all enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to your comments and feedback as well. We want to wish all of you and everybody around the world a happy and healthy new year. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and Happy New Year, everybody.